Alright, let's get this started. Alright. Incident report regarding the Carpet Hotel. Recorded 24th July. Report taken direct from Star Agent Lucas Bernard. Organized by Dr. Thomas Lee. The report begins. So I'm guessing you're wondering why I wanted to record this. I'm sure you can guess why. I lost my hands. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They're gone. I'll explain in a minute. So, for the record, I'm Lucas Bernard, Star Strike Squad leader. I lead men into dangerous places. We clear them of any monsters or hostiles, so the lab coats can get in and research it. Figure out a way to detain it. We usually never take long doing our job. We're pretty good at it. Been here for a while. 20 years? I don't know. It's been long. So, let's get into the actual report. So, as per usual, I got my briefing. Anomalous hotel made completely out of carpet. Don't bring fire, it'll burn it down. Makes sense, and I kind of understood it. So I took my shotguns, my ARs, a couple other guns, a few things I could continue to ramble about. I'll never get to hold them again. But it's part of the job. I get prosthetics and figure out how to use them after that. And I might retire. This job is giving me enough pension to work with. So, I got my crew. We got ready, and yeah. Right, back to it. What was it? Right. We got all that stuff packed. We loaded up the car. We all got in, and we started driving. Even though this place was pretty far from the site we were in, it still took us 11 hours to get there? Took forever, but I don't think it matters now, does it? Yeah, I don't think you mind after all. Where was I? Right. So, took a moment, but we got there. It was warm, it was nice, it was good. It was a pretty good location to put a hotel. I'll give these anomalies one thing, they've got taste. And that taste has got some pretty nice views of the sunset. I miss that feeling. I haven't felt warm ever since I got here. been a week. Sorry, I'm a bit sick after that mission or something. It doesn't matter, I'll be fine. Okay. So, we got ready. Of course, we loaded up our weapons, made sure everybody had their gear, turned on our body cameras, told the coach we're going. We were cocky and we were proud because we've done so many jobs and, well, they turned out pretty nice, now didn't they? Right. So they did. Now, once we walked up to this place, we noticed something instantly as we got onto the stony floor that was leading up to the door. It was softer than normal rocks. Like, we had heavy boots on, so we would barely notice, but like, I would notice a sting of a rock hitting my boot, right? But like, it didn't. So then we looked down. The rocks, they were made out of this rough carpet. Leaned down and touched it. It was perfectly carpet. Felt like rock, but like soft enough that like I could sit down on it and just like take a break, you know? Yeah. We even checked the walls. It was also carpet. Yeah. We checked the bushes. Carpet. We checked the door. Carpet. And then we checked in. Take a guess on what we found when we got inside. Yeah, we didn't even have to kick the door down to this place. The doorman opened this for us. He was polite, not gonna lie, but his voice, it was scratchy. It felt like someone was dragging sandpaper down it. He even threatened to like kick his ass. Didn't even have to. I don't know what's up with this guy. I said to my crew, they said he's probably not hostile. And then we thought this might be one of those situations where people get trapped in here, turned into these things, and the real monster is hidden somewhere in a dark corner. You know, it was dumb when we lowered our guard because of that stupid theory. We should have confirmed with the scientists. But no, we kept going. We kept going because, of course, we did. He pointed us to the main desk and said we can check in there. Now, we met the lady, and she was pretty nice. She gave us some keys, said some greetings, and told us free to roam after we get settled in, and said this in a very creepy way. We hope you enjoy your stay. Now, I'm not much of a hotel person. I prefer the comfort of my own home. Nothing beats the bed that you sleep on every night, especially if it's next to your wife. Lovely feeling, honestly. You know, thinking about it, Jules did mention that doorman was kind of weird. Was he also made out of carpet? And the cap hit his face pretty well. I think he heard her when she said that. Yeah. Right, anyway. So we tentatively decided that, how about this? How about this? We go into our rooms and we survey the place. See what's going on. Something fun might happen. That's how I always described our missions to my comrades, you see. They didn't like me describing them as fun, but I thought it would be fun if we just had an idea. And this idea was that every time we go into a place, we look at it with a fresh perspective. And this fresh perspective was the fact that every time we'd get out alive. You know? It makes sense. So, have fun when you go in there. Try not to die and all that bullshit. So, we did. And we did our best. We did enjoy what we saw in there. It was really interesting. It was a pretty comfortable room, I'll be honest. It was not as bad as I expected it to be. You know, I was expecting shitty roach-infested beds and, walls dried up with paint and smears of blood, but no. It was a pretty well-kept room. Albeit the bed was hard as nails and tough as rocks, and the blanket was a scratchy rug. I'm starting to realize that everything over there was carpet for real. Like, I'm pretty sure even, the columns holding up that place were made of carpet. Like, nothing even supported any other thing in there. It was so confusing. After that, sorry. Can we take a break? I need a cigarette. All right. Report abruptly ends. Unfortunately, Mr. Lucas never continued the report. After leaving the room, he recorded it. Going out to smoke a cigarette, he unfortunately died. Convulsing on the floor, writhing in pain and terror as he slowly bled out at first, and then his body started to implode. As it did, it shifted and twisted, mulching and squeezing every inch of bone that he had left until he turned into a long velvet rug. Black patterns along the sides and tassels hanging long as his beard used to. He was, unfortunately, not the only one that we noticed turned into a carpet. Other than that, we managed to finally find the body camera footage and clean it up due to the distortion that happened so intensely, you could say. One moment. There we go. That's better. And after a few days, relative enough to 2 weeks, we managed to clean up the footage enough to, say, finish his report. Additional information before the report continues, albeit, is that the staff don't seem to be able to be killed. Even the hotel itself doesn't seem flammable. But now that we have the entirety of the footage, I shall continue the report for Mr. Lucas. The notes we made are specific. I don't know how to continue. How about... Report continues. Thomas Lee recording in place of Mr. Lucas. Once the STAR team checked in and went into their rooms, they walked out of them, scanning the nearby area. They found themselves in the presence of a housekeeper, presumably the person who was keeping all the rooms so tidy and clean. Mr. Lucas forgot to mention in his report that every employee seemed to have a floral pattern on all their outfits. After the search, Mr. Lucas told his colleagues, crew, the people he would work with for the rest of the night, that he was going into his room to check on something. Once he got in there, he seemed to forget what he was coming in there for, but then he fell into a deep sleep, as did all the others. For the continuing 15 hours, they were in deep sleep, not able to wake up for some reason. Once they did awake, they noticed that they were perfectly tucked into their beds, in their rooms, fed and taken care of, albeit they all had a feeling of carpet just draining in their throats. They mentioned that the feeling was mutual to everyone. They didn't know what to say at first, but they didn't have to. They went to Mr. Lucas's room and woke him up. He, for some reason, didn't have the taste of carpet on his tongue, but he did have a scratchy throat for the remainder of his visit. They noticed immediately that they had definitely been tampered with. Their flesh felt scratched and dragged across hard rock as if it were, by their recount of tales. We would show the footage, but it is very hard to understand what's happening and all the corruption. It isn't the cleanest footage, I will be honest. It isn't our best effort at fixing it. Mr. Lucas seemed to be in a trance once they woke him up, and once he did wake up, he told them not to worry. He would go sort this out with the front desk, see if anything happened while they were asleep. Once he went out of his room, much to his colleagues' dismay and vulgar cursing, he went up to the front desk. Suddenly in a trance-like state, Mr. Lucas talked with the doorman casually, and then with the lady in the check-in. After that, he sat at the lounge room and rested on the rough red couch, where other guests were also waiting. Some with suitcases, presumably ready to leave, or some just waiting to check in. More guests were arriving at the hotel as of the visit of the Star Strike Squad. They did not assume what would be happening, though. It wouldn't be the reason why it would happen. What does that even mean? Once Mr. Lucas sat down on a rough red couch that was also completely made out of carpet. It's so obnoxious that everything's made out of carpet here. It's so stupid. Right. Mr. Lucas did eventually return to his room and tried to go to his bed to sleep more, but his colleagues smacked the ever-loving sense into him, and he suddenly realized that they were being contained, trapped even. Checked his watch and even noticed that they were here for way longer than they expected to be. The scientists outside presumed they were dead by now. Foolish of them to assume, but it's not really a dumb idea to think it that way. I would also assume them dead if they were in there for more than 15 hours. I mean, you can't survive that long, can you now? Other than that, they armed their weapons and put on their vests, got ready to fight, and kicked down the door. Despite it being made out of carpet, it swung off of its hinges and violently rang down the main room, the main hallway, where the check-in desk and the doorman stood. Once they started running outside of the room, they ran down the stairs and started blasting their guns at every single carpet creature that was even in their sight. Granted, they were good shots. They hit many headshots and many body shots, and many lethal wounds that would have taken down any human. But these weren't human. They were made of complete carpet, and as stated before, in continuation of this report, they can't be killed. But they could kill back. Slowly, one by one, each and every single one of the Star Strike Squad agents were killed. Besides Mr. Lucas, another Star agent survived, albeit far horrifically and gruesomely than the others. Pan Gimlet was his name. He described these deaths as the staff violently getting up and charging at the agents, while the other guests just stood there and watched in awe. Even the guests joined in after a while, slowly pulling and tearing off limbs, cracking bone, tearing flesh, ripping out eyes and tongues, breaking everything, and then tossing them into the carpet below their feet, where a massive red hand tore out the million fibers that constructed the floor and pulled in every limb. We assumed this description to be mass hysteria from him, but Mr. Lucas also confirmed to the doctors that he saw something similar happen, albeit he was a bit more distracted as he was losing his hands to the hostess. After this, they managed to escape and, well, they got back in a van and they managed to come back here, where Mr. Lucas decided he would give the report while Pan Gimlet recovered, and then he could give his side of the report. Unfortunately, Mr. Lucas died at the same time as Pan Gimlet died. They both died at the same time, as a matter of fact. Some doctors, unfortunately, saw the possibility to do a biopsy on their bodies impossible now. It was extremely insensitive of them to think that they could just desecrate a human body for the pleasure of science. These men had families. They were going to go back to them, and now they're just right. I'm getting distracted. Just turn that damn thing off. Right. I need a cigarette. Come on. Turn on. There we go. I don't know, was it? Considering follow-up missions regarding the Carpet Hotel, they will be from now on withheld with public reservations. We've sectioned off the zone where the hotel is, so no tourists or planes can fly over, drive by, and see it, get curious. We've essentially made it an Area 51. And furthermore, tests shall be held by professional technology experts who will drive drones and cameras in there to spy on the employees and guests. The most disturbing thing from here is that, well, I don't think any of the guests even noticed that what happened was a bad thing. This report's dragging on for too long. I'll continue it another day when I have more information. I guess it makes sense to use drones. We'll lose less staff that way. Right, report ends. This was file -009-1 T.L-L.B. Thank you very much for listening to D.A.R.C. I'm your host, the wonderful Green. You can call me Ben if you want. Other than that, thank you for listening. I'm actually really glad people are listening to this fun series. I'd like to thank Purpled and Kate the Crab Queen for letting me even start these funny little recordings. I'm glad I can tell my stories to people. You know, it takes a little long to write these, but it's worth it when I see the views just pile up and the people I work with just enjoy the work I do. I didn't even script this damn outro. I planned to have an intro, but I decided, nah, let's just get right into the meat and potatoes of the Carpet Hotel. It's like a silly little thing. It's D-009 if anyone's curious. Anyway, thank you for listening, and coming soon, a lot more things are going to be going down. A lot more cooler things. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'm Mr. Green T-Rex, also known as Ben. Have a good day. And remember something.